The first stop is our control room. This is the centralized hub for building automations. Inside the control room, on the left side menu, the automation section is where we build our automations. In our free community edition, you can build the automations for your own personal, non-commercial use. Community Edition is designed as a standalone version, so collaboration features are not available. Our Enterprise Edition is designed for collaborative use, so there are tabs along the top for private and public areas if you have access to them. The private area is where you build your automations, and the public area is where you can collaborate with others and share your automations. This video will show you how to get started and will show you just the beginnings of what intelligent automation can do. Let's start with a simple application where we log into a website. First, let's create a Pathfinder Academy folder. And click Create Folder. This is where we're going to store our automations from these videos. Now let's click on this folder and create a subfolder named First Automation. And click Create Folder. Now let's click on this Create New button and select TaskBot. For the name of this TaskBot, let's call it Get Logged In. And create an edit. The editor for the Automation Success platform is browser-based. You don't need a separate editor. Additionally, anything that you create here is stored securely on the control room. This first automation is something very simple, yet something that you have to do frequently: logging into a website. The website in question is our training website, so don't worry if you got anything wrong, it's not going to break anything. So along the left side of the screen are the three major categories. We've got our variables, our actions, and at the bottom here, we've got our triggers. Actions is displayed by default, and it's what you're going to be using most of the time anyway. If you want to look at the other two categories, just click on the heading, like this, and the other categories get out of the way. But we're going to be using Actions category for this automation exclusively, so go ahead and click on Actions to return it back to the top. In the middle of the screen is this flow view. It's designed to look like a flowchart, which is familiar to most business people. It goes from top to bottom. We have other ways of displaying our automation, but for now, we'll stick with this flow view. On the right side of the screen is where any action details are displayed. As we add automation actions to the flow view, you'll see information being requested there for the selected action. To get started, enter Open in the Search Actions box. This filters the display of actions to show only the packages or actions that contain the word Open. This helps keep the list manageable rather than searching through hundreds of actions. Click on the Browser package, and inside you'll find that Open action. Let's drag this action between the start and end icons. When you do, the right side pane will display the details about the Browser Open action. In the What to Open, new window is already selected. This is what we want, so nothing to change there. In the Browser drop-down, change the browser to Google Chrome. It's best to change this to the browser you're using. In the link to open, we're going to enter the following website, which is linked in the description as well. There's no need to change the timeout, so we're done with this browser open action. Notice we still have this warning here. That just means that those changes haven't been committed. An easy way to commit those changes is just to click in a blank area next to your action. The next steps in our automation need to have the new browser window open. So we're just going to run this automation as is to open up that other window. And there we go. Now let's switch back to the control room window. We have to leave that other window open because that's what we're going to automate. So back here in our control room, our bot ran successfully, so we can click the close button. And now we're going to search for the word capture at the top of our actions. And under the recorder package, let's add a capture action right after the browser open. The capture action allows you to manipulate the user interface. In our case, we're going to use the capture action to first fill out the username, then another capture to fill out the password, and finally a third to click the login button. With the power of the capture action comes some complexity. We'll only cover the basics for now, but know that capture is not only one of the actions you'll use most often, but is also one of the most difficult to master. On the right side of the screen, we must choose which window we're going to work with. Since we're using the Chrome browser, I'm going to click Browser. Below that button is this drop-down list, but right now it's empty. So I'm going to click on this curly arrow on the right side of the drop-down list, and this will refresh the windows that we have open. Now that we've refreshed that, let's click this drop-down and then select Welcome to AA Test Page from the drop-down list. Below that, on the right side, let's click this Capture Object button. The screen switches over to the web page that we wanted to automate, and as we move our mouse around the screen, you'll notice that things start to highlight. These parts of the screen that are getting highlighted are called objects. Each of these objects can be controlled by the capture action. Now, when we move our mouse over the username text box, you can see that we get that red outline around the text box. And then just click your mouse once to record or capture the information about that username text box. By capturing that text box, we've captured all the details we need about that object that we clicked on. And we can see that here. These details allow us to find the specific object that we want to control. We'll go into a lot more detail about that later. In the drop-down list titled Action to Take on Object, let's select Set Text. This drop-down list changes depending on the type of object that we captured. Below this drop-down list, there's an area for keystrokes. Enter Golden Cat 303, just as shown here. And this is the username that we're going to use for this website. Now that's all we're going to change for this recorder capture action. Next, we're going to add another capture right after that one. We're going to select Browser for the window type. And in the drop-down box, we can choose the previously selected Welcome to AA Test Page. There's no need to refresh the windows at this time. Now that we've got the window selected, let's click the Capture Object button. And just like before, we're going to move our mouse around over to the password field this time and click once. For the action to take on the object, once again, we're going to choose that and select Set Text. But this looks a little different than what we saw before. Because the Automation Success Platform saw this as a password field, it not so gently nudges you to using the Credential Vault. We'll cover the Credential Vault a little later, so for now, let's click the Insecure String button. In the text box below this, enter the password trumpet. We'll add one more capture action right after that one. And we'll go up to our window and select Browser again. For the Browser tab, select the drop-down and choose Welcome to AA Test Page. And click Capture. This time we're moving our mouse pointer over the Login button. Wait for that to red highlight and click. And the action to take on that object is click. Now this is all we need for this first automation. Let's click the Save button in the upper right corner. Now to test this automation, I do need to close the other window, this Welcome to AA Test Page. It's always a good habit to start with a clean slate each time. Now we're ready to click the Run button. Most enterprise automations start this same way, logging into a system, just like humans do. You can think of your automation as a digital worker. It can do many of the same tasks that you can, but it can do them at any time of day or night without getting tired or making mistakes. Ideal jobs for your digital worker might be assigning it to create a report you have to create every morning, or having your digital worker check inventory levels for your warehouse systems, or even having your digital worker assist you with a difficult or time-consuming task, working hand in hand? Well, you get the idea. So what did we learn here today? We used the Browser Open action to open a new browser window and to navigate to a specific website. We then used the Capture actions to fill in the username and password fields, then click the Login button. The Capture action can do more than just fill in forms and click buttons. It can also get values from the page and much more. Capture works with web-based applications and Windows applications too. Should you need to do some automation work on a Windows application, the basic actions remain the same. I hope this gets your brain thinking about the tasks that you can assign to your digital worker to accomplish. Thanks for watching, and go be great.